Hi everybody, how's it going tonight? I'm just gonna wait for a couple more minutes as our friends start to come into the group. Tonight is Thursday, and I like to say this is going to be one of our last live class this month, so just make sure that you, hey Christina, just make sure that you remember to check out the schedule for the rest of the month for when I post it for next month. So in June, we're going to have a whole new schedule for training. So this month went really well. So I just want to thank you everybody who's been joining us and watching these nail training classes that I've developed with Jazz Z Beauty. So this is basically Shine and Design nail training class with Jazz Z Beauty. And we've been doing these classes over the month, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope a lot of you guys also like what you see. Hi Christina, hi Miss Goya, hi Dominic, hi to everybody who is watching. And let me just quickly share this video, and if you can do the same thing for me, if you guys can just share this onto your group, I really appreciate that. That way we can reach out to more people to let them know that we have this type of training class every month. I try to do 2 classes a week, and typically the last week of the month I will take off because I just have to get caught up on some things, and it also gives me a good opportunity to do more videos to show you guys how to do a lot of these different tutorials that I like to teach you. So thank you, Miss Goya, for sharing this into your Beauty Academy. I remember on Tuesday I actually accidentally just did a live in your group, so only your students were able to see our live class, but that's okay. I was really happy to share all the new techniques with Miss Goya's Barbering Cosmetology apprenticeship program in Santa Rosa, and a lot of her students were so excited to see hybrid gel for the first time, so it went really well, and I was able to share that class also with our Shine and Design and Jazz Z Beauty training group. So let me go ahead and turn this on, so that way if you guys want to comment, if you like to see something that I'm doing, or if I'm talking too fast, just let me know, because I can always go back and look at the comments and try to answer all your questions. Okay, so thank you again everyone. Hi Ravi, welcome back. Have you tried the hybrid gel on any clients yet? Oh, and also one more thing I forgot to grab in my other office is tonight I'm going to announce the winner for our contest. And the contest is if you guys start working with a hybrid gel system, and you can take some pictures of your client's nails either before and after, or if it's a full set, you can also take a full set or fill. I would like you to send these photos to our group. And for every photo, it's going to be 1 entry into our contest. And the contest is every week I'm going to announce the winner, and that winner is going to receive a nice little gift packet of nail art. So the nail art is to be determined, but at least it's a nice opportunity for you guys to showcase your work. Make sure you put your name on it and also your salon's name, because I would love to also give you a shout out. And everyone qualifies, so even if you are my educator or just starting off in the industry or beginner to professional, I don't care. As long as you enter into our contest and allow us to share your work, then you will be qualified to enter your name. And I will pull one of those names out and give you guys a nice free gift. So make sure you do that. Okay, so before I get started, I'm gonna run over to my office and get the name. So give me 1 second, okay? Oh, actually, never mind. I have it here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the name drawing right now. Unfortunately, not a lot of you guys entered into our contest, which I'm really surprised, because this is free nail art. This is a gift that you can have an opportunity to win. So I'm going to go ahead and swish around some names. So I have about 12 names in here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out the name. And remember, every week on Thursday, I'm going to do this. So we're going to read this together. Oh, this is nice. This is backwards, but Jing Yu Clark from Relaxing Nail Spa, you are the winner of our contest. So congratulations, just watch out in your mailbox that I'm going to be sending you a nice little gift packet from Shine and Design. So see, that's how easy it is. So make sure that you guys send us some photos, either to the group, hashtag your name and your salon's name on there as well. Make sure you share that to the Shine and Design Jazzy Beauty Nail Training Group. You can send it to me directly as well, but I prefer you to just go ahead and put that, send the photos to the group so that way I can share it for you. All right, congratulations. Okay, so let's get started. So tonight's training course is going to be focused on electric filing technique, the different type of bits that we use for filing, and also the different shape of nails that there is available now. There's many shape of nails actually. Tonight I will show you 6 different shapes that are really popular in the industry. I myself like the coffin look, and sometimes I do really long nails, so I like the stiletto style. And for each of those shapes, they're all very different in the way you angle your file and how you put pressure in certain points for you to create that particular shape a little bit better. So I'm going to try to show that for you today. A lot of my filing techniques that I demonstrate is always done with the e-file. And one thing I like about using e-files are because it's a lot more efficient. First of all, it'll save you a lot of time. And if you are just starting off in the industry or as a nail tech and you want to invest in something that is going to last you for a long, long time, I just suggest that you do your homework. Today I'm going to recommend our Shine and Design e-file drill, and this is a very nice drill for beginners and for professionals. So when you get the packaging and you open it, it's going to include our e-file. So this is the motor unit. So the handpiece, of course, is separate, which also comes with the box. I'm not going to leave you guys with just the motor. So this comes with a nice slim handpiece as well. And I like that it comes with the carrier. So it is very easy for you to carry around the salon, and it is portable. So all you need to do is charge this for a couple hours, and it's going to remain fully charged for up to 10 hours of filing time, which in a regular week I may have to charge it one time, because you don't file the nails the whole entire service. You only use it a couple minutes in the beginning to prep the nails, and then maybe 10 to 15 minutes to surface file the top of the nails. So in a whole week you don't have to charge this as often as you think so. So that's a nice thing about that, and it's very lightweight. So with the e-file, it does come with a stand. So if you place this machine on your station somewhere and you just need to put your handpiece a little bit easier to access, I would just go ahead and recommend you place your handpiece on this stand, so it makes it a lot easier. And also with this e-file, it does come with a set of diamond bits. So let me go ahead and open it. I'm going to be talking a lot about bits because I'm really into e-filing, and the technique that I show you guys always require a different bit for a different like service or a different angle. So I will, every time I do a demonstration, I will tell you the name of the bit and what it's good for. So with the e-file set, it does come with a nice diamond set bit, and these are good for manicures or Russian manicure, but they're not like the top highest quality, but it is a good starter kit bit for you to work with. Later on I'm going to show you another set that I just came up with, and that's our professional Russian bit kit. And that one I really highly recommend for anyone who's doing a lot of manicures and pedicures and want to get that really clean cuticle refinement. I recommend the Russian bit. But this one is also really good as well, okay? And these are all able to be sterilized and reused. And then you'll get also the battery charger that comes with that as well. So like I said, this unit is portable and rechargeable, So you will only need to charge it maybe once a week. And if you feel like it's running a little slower than usual, that means the battery is starting to wear down. So just go ahead and recharge it again. In your e-file kit, you'll also get these rubber stoppers. These come inside of your box. And what the stopper does is, most of the time, a bit is pretty long. So what we want to do is not put the bit completely into the handpiece, because that makes it stop in the handpiece motor. There's a safety feature where if you insert the bit completely all the way in, it actually stops it and protects so that motor won't burn out. So what these little rubber stoppers are is, you can use it or you don't have to use it. I'll show you what I normally would do, because I don't use these rubber stoppers, but just in case, I do want to show you what they are. So these stoppers are good because it allows you to place your bit into the handpiece, and just enough to where it stops and it's safe for the bit to run the 1000 RPM that you speed it up to. So this e-file is strong and very durable. It is 35,000 RPM maximum speed, and what that means is this, when you turn it on, there's an LCD number on the screen, and it's going to read backwards right now, but it's going to turn on, and for every number, like 1 is 1000 RPM, 5 is 5000 RPM. For the most part in this unit, when I file the nail beds to prep the nails, I'm using no more than 5000 RPM. When I'm surface filing the nail bed, I'm using between 15 to 20,000 RPM, and that's rounds per minute, so that's spinning really, really fast. Again, this unit can go up to 35,000 RPM. You're never going to speed this up to 35,000 RPM because that's super fast, and that's very dangerous actually. So just because it goes up to 35,000, just like a car, you know, we can go 120 miles to 140 miles an hour, but we're never going to drive that fast. But we know it has the capability of doing so. So when I file, I also show you guys the speed that I use the e-file with. Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining in. For those of you that are watching today, I'll be talking a lot about our e-file machine and our bits. We do have 2 different type of bit kits now that's available. So this is besides the bits that's inside of the e-file kit, because if you already have an e-file, then you may need to purchase some bits, or you want to learn about different bits that you can use for your filing services. So this bit right here, this is called our Russian manicure bit, and these are made with diamond carbide, and they're really good to go around the cuticle, underneath the cuticle, clean up on top of the dry skin area. And this brush is just so sweet because it helps you to file off all the extra little debris that can hang around the cuticle area. So I'll be doing a dry Russian manicure on a couple of my nails. That's why I took my nails off, so I can do a demonstration for you guys. So I'll show you guys how to use these bits as well. So after I do my application, I'm going to show you guys how to use our professional tungsten carbide bits. So these bits are a little different from your regular gold or silver carbides. These are made of tungsten metal, and what tungsten is a stronger mineral, so it's a stronger material that these bits are made with. So they do last you over time, a lot longer than just your regular carbide bits. You can sterilize them, you know, clean them, wash them, sterilize them, and then reuse them. They last about 3 to 5 times longer than your regular carbide bits. So I really highly recommend that you get something that will last you a little longer. It may cost maybe $5 to $10 more, but it's going to last you a lot longer. So I will show you also how to use that. So I'll be doing a demonstration on my nails in a little bit, but today's oh, just so you guys know, everything that I show you that I'm using, you can find on our website, and I'll post that link at the end of the video. And if you guys are also out there in California, and you know Jazzy Beauty, they are my distributor for all of our Shine and Design products. So if you can contact Jazz for your order, that'll be great, because she's out there. She'll be visiting the schools once we are able to get back into doing our regular routine and going back to Beauty Academy. So if for any reason at all you have a question, you could always message me right away or directly. Okay, so I do want to share with you guys the promotion that we're having for the bits that I just showed you. So for every purchase of the professional Tungsten bits, I also will include a box of sanding band, and these are disposable sanding band, and that's what you want to use to prep the nail beds with. And in each box is 100 pieces. So with the purchase of the set, you will get the sanding bands for free. So that's a really nice promotion. And this is a new promotion that I'm doing for the Russian manicure bits. For every purchase of the Russian manicure, because it is used for natural nails, and I know that after a manicure service, we always want to put a little bit of cuticle oil on there to make the nail beds look better. So I'm going to go ahead and also include a free bottle of either rose cuticle oil or lavender cuticle oil. I love those two. It works really good, especially after your service is done. Even if you're not doing a manicure, you want to just moisturize the cuticles before they leave, because that's the last thing that they're going to see. And it's always good to add moisture back to their nail beds after you're done with your service. Okay, so quickly about the product that we'll be using for the enhancements today. The product is called T.A.P Hybrid Gel, and this box here is a box set that we put together, and in this kit you will have everything that you need to get started, so you don't have to buy anything extra. If you purchase the kit, this one particularly it's worth $210. The retail value is actually more than that, but the good thing about this kit is it comes with everything that you need, like I said. So it's going to come with the LED lamp. So you need to use LED lamp with this product. So if you don't have a nice LED lamp, then this is a nice kit for you to purchase, because it has it included in there. So the lamp that we'll be using today is a very simple basic lamp, and this is nice because it does cure every gel that's out there in the industry. It's 48 watts. You can also turn this to 24 watts, which is a little bit lighter in heat excursion, but with the hybrid gel you would need to leave it at the 48 watts, and that's going to cure it 30 seconds for the base and then 60 seconds for each layer. So that's really nice that we included the LED lamp with this kit. And also with the kit you're going to get a box of nail tips. So these are nail tips that I will be using today. I'm going to do 2 nail tips and 2 forms, because today's class is forms versus nail tips demonstration. So in the kit you get these nice almond shaped nail tips that you can create some of the different shapes that I'm going to show you. And you get a couple of different nail art products with it as well, and a whole set of tips for you to practice. So if you're new to hybrid gel, you may want to practice first before you apply this on your own nails. So it's going to come with practice tips like this and everything that you need. So he's got the glue, the nail file, and the buffer. So I know a lot of our viewers were so excited to get this product right away and try it, but I do recommend that you try a couple on the nail tips or on a practice finger, just so you can understand like how this product works, because it is very different from acrylic system. To compare the hybrid with the acrylic system, the biggest difference is the hybrid gel will not dry out, it will not run, so it gives you 100% working time, and that's a great benefit to have, especially when you're just starting. I know that with acrylic system, when I first started, it's really difficult because you have to worry about the liquid powder ratio, you have to worry about the air dry time that you have, so there's a lot of different things you have to think about with using acrylic. But with the hybrid, you're going to see how easy it is for me to apply it. I could smooth it out, I can take my time to work around the cuticle area, I could really perfect my shape before I cure it in the light. Yes, Miller, you asked, can you sculpt with this product? Yes, we can. Today is one of the class that I will be demonstrating, because I haven't demonstrated how to use this product with nail forms yet, but today's going to be the class that we're going to do that. And so it's good, Miller, that you are tuning in right now. So yes, I'm going to show you guys how to use different type of forms, and also forms by what I mean are these extension forms that we use. And these are just different ones that I found over time. So depending on, you know, the technique that we use, different forms are good for that technique. Okay, and also one thing that is, if you guys purchase our set, for as long as I can provide alcohol for you, I will, because I know right now it's hard to find alcohol in the beauty supplies, and if you order this on Amazon, it's going to cost a fortune. So what I'm going to do for the time being is I'm going to also include a 4-ounce jar of alcohol, because this is the solution that we use with the hybrid system. There's no other product that we need. You don't need monomer, you don't need primer, you don't need anything else. So alcohol is what we're going to use, so that way the brush and the hybrid gel will not stick together, and I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. So I think it's a little nice that I made sure you guys have everything that you need to get started, because like I said, a lot of people will order the kit and they get right away, they want to get their hands on there. Okay, so in this box set, you're going to have your pink and white collection. So it does have a tube of clear, the white, and a natural pink color for your French. So this 3 combination is really pretty for your traditional French manicures. It comes with the brush that we use. This jar here is, the color of it is green, but you know, it's just the color of the jar. Of course, we're gonna use just clear alcohol solution. And then you've got your top and your base. This box has 2 layers. So underneath of that, you're gonna get the rest of your French collection. So there's 5 more tubes, and these are different shades of pink. And then you get 1 cuticle pusher right there. Let me show you guys the colors of the French collection. It's a little bright, but if you see, we start with the clear, and then you see the different tones of pinks. These are really pretty as well to apply over the entire nail bed for a nice overlay. Because I have a lot of clients that don't want extensions. They just want to have something on their nail bed to make them a little bit stronger so their natural nails can grow out. So this is also a great system for that, because it's very non-damaging. It's lightweight. I don't use hardly any toxic chemicals to, you know, that we include with this product line. So you don't need anything like that. That is very highly aesthetic on the natural nails. So I know that a lot of my manicure clients like this overlay on their natural nails, and then we polish gel colors on there. We can polish regular nail polish, and it stays on for 3 to 4 weeks until they need to come back and get a fill. So that's another thing that I do want to point out, is this product, you don't have to soak off every single time. So you can leave it on and continue to do a refill every 3 to 4 weeks, which is really nice, because then you know you have a return clientele. So if you're having any more questions about this hybrid, please feel free to comment or ask me. I would try to answer those questions. But I know that a lot of my nail techs that have been doing acrylics for many, many years, and now they start to use the hybrid gel system, the biggest benefit that they love is there's no toxic odor. It's like, it's so much easier, feels more cleaner to use. You don't have a big mess. I know that at the end of the day, if I have a full schedule and I have like 6 to 8 clients that I need to do a hybrid full set on or a fill, I don't get a headache, because I'm not really smelling anything that's really strong. So I like the fact that the hybrid system is really beneficial for that. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this away. I'm going to turn the camera around. Hi everybody who's just turning into our class today. So I'm going to turn this camera around so that way we can start to do our class. Okay. Hi Alexia. So Alexia asked, does your hybrid system include a camouflage or cover pink? Yes, I would say that number 5 is a really nice color for covering the nail bed. So for full coverage, this is on a clear tip. So if you have, if you want to do an overlay, I do recommend that you use a natural color tip so that way it's not so transparent. But for a full cover, I would recommend either number 3 or number 5, and that's depending on the skin tone and the color that you like. Okay, so today's topic is about different nail shapes. And on my station here, I have, this is the most trending shapes out there right now, these 6 different shapes that I am going to show you. So number 1, I would call this a medium almond shape. It's almond because it literally looks like a little almond. I like this, it's really cute. Number 2, we call this kitten heel. Also, sometimes you would call this a point, like a mini stiletto. But I call it the kitten heel because there's, in the ladies' shoe, we either call a wedge, a stiletto, or a small kitten heel. So that's what that is. Number 3, I would call this just your traditional square nail, very straight on the side and flat on top. If you want to round the corners, then you can also call this a softened square or a square with rounded corners, which is really popular. A lot of my clients do like that as well. Number 4, this shape we call is a coffin because it is very straight and narrow on the sides, and then it just comes to a nice flat tip, but it comes into a tapered point. So you see that? So we call this the coffin shape. Number 5, I would call this a long oval. I like this shape as well. So my thumb is sort of a medium oval shape right now. And number 6, this I would call a pointed stiletto. So for a nail to be called a stiletto, you needed to have some sort of length to it. So you can even have it up to this length and still call it stiletto to a point. But remember, stiletto is nails that are longer and comes to a nice sharp edge. If you have anything that is shorter that comes to a point, you might as well call that an almond with the pointed tip. So this almond, we can change that into more of a point, but it's still not considered a stiletto. So if you guys want to comment, let me know which is your favorite shape. I think mine is number 6. I really like number 6 because it's just so sharp and classy. So let me know which one is your favorite shape. So I have on my nails, I left 4 of them open. So today we're going to be doing a demonstration with 2 nail tips and then 2 forms. So that way I can show you that you can use a form with the hybrid gel system. Okay, so let me just get everything ready. Come on guys, I want your feedback on what shape you guys like. I'll probably do 4 different shapes on my nails today as well. Okay, so earlier I talked about our bits. I just want to show you guys from our Tungsten bit set. So this is the tornado bit. So you would use this bit primarily to remove products, or when they come back for a fill and you want to quickly remove the old gel polish, this is the bit that you would use. And if you see here, there's a lot of grooves in there, and it's a deep groove. And what that does, it actually helps to ventilate the speed and the heat of the bit, so that way it cools down the bit at the same time. So with this bit, you can remove product quickly, but then you won't feel that burning sensation. Make sure that you turn your e-file to a faster speed and not so low, because this one does have a lot of grooves in it. If it runs too slow, then sometimes the bit may get caught on the nails, and that's not ever a good thing. So make sure that you do want to turn your E-file to a medium to fast speed. This next bit here, this is called a safety bit, and it's a fine grit. And what that means is it's got a round tip here, so it is safe to go around the cuticle area, but we don't use this bit for the cuticle. I use this bit mostly to surface file. So when you're ready to file the top of the nail beds to smooth out the surface, this is what you want to use. The next bit is called the tapered cone bit, and this is a medium grit. So this is fine, this is medium. So this will file off more than this bit, but this bit is actually better for you to use around the cuticle area because it has a tapered tip and also a flat top. So on the top of that, it won't cut the skin, but at the same time, the cone tapered bit allows you to see exactly where you're going to have that bit move across the around the cuticle area. So I really like this bit. And all these bits that you see here in this set is all the bits that I personally picked out and put together in this kit, because these are all the bits that I've been wanting in one kit, because it's everything that you would need to use for each part of your service. So this bit here, this is called the under the nail cleaner bit, and it's coarse, so you do want to be careful. The very tip of it is what you use near the cuticle area, and it's safe enough to where it won't cut the skin, and it allows you to get in these corners to kind of like shape the cuticle and clean up any dry skin even a little bit more than any of these other bits. Okay, and this next bit is called the ball bit, and this is a medium grit. So I like this bit as well because at the very end, when I shape my cuticle area, there's always a couple hangnails hanging around. So I like to take this bit and go right on top of that area. And any dry skin that's on the side, you can also use this bit to clean up, and it's very safe. All right, I have someone comment, I can't pick just one. You like shape number 1, 3, and 5, and that's Riders. And Christina likes number 4. Okay, so the next bit here, this is a metal mandrel bit, and it's different from your traditional mandrel bit because this one here, if you can see, there's all these like little grooves. And what that does is when you insert a sanding band bit, so I'm just going to grab one of our sanding bands as an example. So for prepping the nail bed, you're going to make sure that we use a medium grit sanding band. So that's 150 grit. For surface filing, so at the very end, I always like to use the mandrel bit and electric file like a buffer. So I would use the finer bit, and that's 240 grit. So it does say it on the box as well, so we don't get confused because they look the same. So I'm going to grab one of our medium bit for prep work. So I'm going to get that ready. So this bit here is great because you can't really tell, but it has like a little spring at the very end of it, and what that does, it allows you to insert the sanding band disposable bit very easily and securely, and then at the same time it's also very easy to remove from this bit, because I know I have some sanding band mandrel bits that are so hard. Once I put my bit there, I can't take it off. It's very, very difficult, but this one is an easy on, easy off. So if you need to replace it or discard it quickly, this is a very easy bit to do so. So I'm just going to leave that in because we're going to use that medium sanding band bit to prep my nail beds. Okay, and then this last bit here, this is what we use to just get in all this little fine area to remove the debris, and also underneath the nail as well. So this is at the very end, and my clients like this because it feels like a little massage that we're giving to their cuticle, so that's really cool. And all these bits are made of tungsten metal, and it's you can sanitize it, sterilize it, and reuse it again. So that's a nice thing about that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one away. So I did show you guys the Russian bits. So this is our Russian manicure bit, and this comes in a 10-piece kit. And these are different than the tungsten bit that I just showed you. These are made of diamond bits. So they are finer. They do have different grits on them. So this one is a medium grit. This is a fine grit. Number 3 is a medium grit. So these are all different shapes to do different things around the cuticle area. So when I do my demonstration, I'll start to explain that. So we have the different names of those bits. So we have a safety bit, cylinder, a small cylinder. These are almost the same, but one is a little bit pointier and thinner to get really underneath the cuticle to clean them up. You have the nib bit, you have the cone safety bit. This one has a little bit of a tapered top there. And this is the round ball bit. These are very safe around the cuticle area. That's just to really help you to remove a little bit more of that hangnail or dry skin that you couldn't get with your regular filing bits. And then these are just like for the callus area, and then this also has another brush bit. Okay, so these are so pretty, aren't they? I love all these different shapes. And remember, when you offer a service on your menu, you can also add in your service menu different prices for different shape, because it does take more time to shape a certain nail a certain way. Of course, the square nails is going to be the easiest nails to shape, because all you need to do is taper the top, the edges, the sides, and then file straight across the top. But for nails like the almond shape or the kitten heels, the round shape, this takes more time and energy and technique. So you do want to add another $5 to $10 when they're changing the shape of the nails. So on my salon menu, I normally would price it as a regular full set, which I would put in parentheses, short to medium, and I'll put square. Then I'll have that at a certain price. Then the next level will be add a custom shape plus 10. So what that means is if they want to customize and do a coffin or almond shape or round shape, then they know they have to pay another $10 extra. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope it helps for you guys to understand, like, when you want to do different shape nails as a service in your salon, you should always charge a little bit more, because it does take more time. And it's harder to shape 10 nails completely even as well. So you know that's going to take you a little bit more time. Okay, so I am going to fix my lighting a little bit, so that way when I start to do the service, the demo, you guys can see my nails a little bit better. So how's the lighting there? Okay. All right, so you guys can see that clearly? Okay, I'm gonna also move my paper. I'll put this paper towel on the bottom. So I have my LED lamp ready, and I need to make sure that my LED lamp is at least 48 watts. Anything that is less than 48, because there are LED lamps out there that are 24 to 36, you may need to cure an extra 30 seconds to 60 seconds per layer, just to make sure the hydrogel is dry before we shape them. So I'm going to go ahead and lay out some of my tools that I need. So I need a dust brush, a buffer, I'm going to need a file, and I'm also going to use some of my manicuring tools, because I'm going to show you guys how to prep the nail bed. So make sure you always sterilize your tools correctly. We'll have another class on how to sterilize our implements. But for now, I already sterilized my tools, and I have it in the sterile pouch. So every time I do a new service on a client, they can see that, you know, I already set everything up and sterilized it before their service. Okay, if you see my cuticles, I don't have a lot of cuticle. This is normal for me because I always play with my nails, and I probably push back my cuticles more than I need to. So I really don't have a lot of growth. But if you get a client that comes in that has a lot of dry skin, you want to make sure that you do a mini dry manicure before we start with the hybrid gel system. So how do we do that is I'm going to use a cuticle pusher, but then I'm also going to be using these different Russian manicure bits as well to help me push back the cuticles a little bit more. So the first step is we're going to make sure that we gently push back the cuticle. And if you manually push back the cuticles like this, we can kind of examine their nail beds at the same time. So we can tell how strong their nails are naturally. So if a client has very thin nails, you know that the rest of the service you have to be very gentle and delicate on top of their natural nail beds. If you have a client that has very thick, coarse cuticle skin around their nails, you know that their nails are probably pretty coarse as well, and they can take a little bit more friction from us applying and filing. So I have a pretty average nail bed. It's not too thick, not too thin. So it can take a lot of wear and tear, which I'm pretty lucky about that. But if you have a client that has just very thin natural nails and they want something a little bit stronger to use as an overlay to protect their natural nail beds, then I highly recommend you to tell them about this hybrid gel system. Okay, so the next step, I'm going to use our Russian manicure bits. I'm going to start with our first bit here. So this is a safety bit. I'm going to insert it into, make sure we lock it into place. And again, don't put your bit all the way in. Make sure you give a little bit of the shank showing. That way it will freely move inside the handpiece and it won't stop automatically. So then we want to make sure that we lock it so that's secure. So in my e-file for this particular bit, I'm going to turn it no more than about 8,000 RPM, and that's a slow speed, but it's fast enough to where we can use it with this bit around the cuticle area. Okay, so first what I'm doing is I am just filing off that proximal layer around the cuticle, and that pushes it up a little bit. So this is going only on the cuticle surface. And then on the sides, if I have any dry skin, I can also file that off. So you do want to go in steps when you're prepping the nail bed with the Russian manicure bits. Because I know there's some bits that is in the kit that you can just go directly underneath the cuticle, but you're not ready yet because there's still all this extra that we have to push back first. So just think of this as an electric way to push back the cuticles even a little bit better. And when I started just performing the Russian manicure on my clients, and I can tell that their nails last another week or two longer than usual, and then when they come back, they don't have a lot of cuticle growth. Okay, so the next bit, we're going to use a cylinder bit, and this one is a little bit finer. I'm going to turn it no more than 10,000 RPM. So if you have e-file that doesn't show you the numbers and it's just a dial, just make sure the speed is a comfortable speed to where you can still control the bit, and it's light enough to where we just very gently push back the cuticle and go underneath a little bit. So sometimes there may not be a lot of cuticles for you to push back, which is fine. Like I said, I don't have a lot of cuticle, but I know when I do this service on some clients, it's just amazing how much better their cuticles look. And then especially around the toes, like if you're going to do a Russian pedicure, I guarantee your polishes will stay on and look a lot cleaner around the cuticle area. Okay, so the next bit that we're going to use, so it's very light, you don't need to do too much. We're going to skip a couple bits and then we're going to go to our number 5, which is the cone safety bit. So this one's a little bit finer than the last bit that we just used. So if you guys can start to see, my cuticles are getting pushed back even more. So if you want to just use these bits for a manicure, you can do that. You don't have to only use it for enhancements. This is a safe way to push back the cuticle, and also using a tool that you can reuse and sterilize. Okay, so I just want to go underneath the cuticles a little bit. Does anybody have any questions right now? So for those of you that have a lot of skin around your cuticle, you will love these bits. Okay, so the next bit I'm going to use is our tapered round bit. So you don't want to insert it too much. And again, just run it at a low speed. I'm not turning it more than 10,000 RPM. So this bit is going to help me take out some of that little dry skin hangnail, because it's very safe to go directly on the skin, because I'm not really trying to cut up my skin. I'm just using this bit to softly grind any of that dry skin that's around my cuticle area. That's why you don't want to soak the fingers in any sort of liquid water or softener. It's not necessary when you're using bits like this. So just around the cuticles, like I don't have a lot, but if you guys can see, my cuticles are starting to look really nice and clean. Because the hybrid gel system is very easy to use, so if you already did all this prep work in the beginning, then once you apply the product, you can get really close to the cuticle area and make it as thin as possible. So that way, the only thing that you really need to do is just use a fine buffer around the cuticle, and then you're done. So you're not messing with the cuticle area anymore. Okay, so I'm going to be done with my Russian bits for now, because sometimes you don't need to use all the bits. Even though it comes with 10 pieces, you don't have to use all of them. So the last thing I'm going to use though is this brush bit, and this is going to help me remove any of those dust that's inside of my cuticle area, because I'm not going to wash my nails or anything like that. Actually, I'm going to use this one more time because I forgot that I'm going to use the sanding band bit. Okay, so now we're ready to prep the tip of the nails. So I'm going to use our sanding band mandrel bit. This is a medium grit. So you do want to turn your E-file to the lowest setting. So on this unit, my lowest setting is between the number 4 and number 5. So that's 4,000 to 5,000 RPM. So if you can on your E-file, if it doesn't have a number, just turn it as low as possible for your bit to spin. So these two nails, I'm going to apply a nail tip. So the first thing I'm going to do is just file the tip of my nails to remove the shine. So I don't want to take off any layers of my nails. I just want to remove the shine, so that way the glue can stick onto the nail beds. Because if the surface is really shiny and you go to use your nail glue with the nail tips, it's not going to stick on as well. Okay, so here we have our almond shape nails. Since I only have 4 nails, I'm going to do a little bit of a different shape on each one. So for the pinky, let me go ahead and use our stiletto tips to make a really long, narrow stiletto. Okay. My nail beds are really small, so I know that I always use the smallest tip for my pinky. So for my pinky nail, I'm going to do a long stiletto. So make sure the size fits good on both sides of my nail bed. So you do want to make sure that you align the tips nice and straight before you press down, and then always check it really quick at a different angle just to make sure that you covered all your sides. If you need a little bit more glue on the corners, then go ahead and just move your tip of your glue and dab it, because the glue will just spread evenly from there. If you have too much glue on the nails, you can just take a piece of tissue paper, or I'm using the paper towel on my station. I just tore off a little corner and I dabbed it onto the paper, because you don't want the glue to run in underneath the nail beds, because that makes it really uncomfortable for your client as well. They may not feel it right away, but as they go home and then they wash their hands more, sometimes you'll have a lot of glue catching on some of the things that they do. Okay, so the next nail, so again, you want to check on both of the sides, make sure that you have full coverage. If it has a little bit exposed like this, then you need to move one size bigger. So you don't want to just force yourself and use a tip that is small, that's smaller than the natural nails, because you can always shape inward and customize the tips if you have to, but it's harder to build on the sides if the nails are not a perfect fit. Okay, so I just want to press that down. If I need more glue, I'm not going to squeeze the tube of my glue. I'm just going to move the tip of it and allow a little bit of that glue to come out, because sometimes I know that we think we need to squeeze the tube, but sometimes it just shoots out and that's too much glue. Okay, so these two nails, I'm just going to do the extension tip, and then these two we're going to do a form. So before I get to the forms, I want to apply product on these two nails, because the form is very different and I don't want it to be in the way when I'm shaping these nails. So you can use a hand file to de-shine the tips, just like that. Or you can use the sanding band bit to do it. I prefer the sanding band and the e-file because it's a lot faster. So I'm going to turn it to a very low setting. So on my e-files, it's at number 4. So because it's just a plastic tip, I don't have to be too careful about the direction that I am taking away the shine. Okay, so we have a stiletto, and then we have, I'm going to change this into an oval. So let me go ahead and trim down the nails first. And you can trim the nails with scissors or nail clippers, up to you. Okay, so I'm going to cut both sides. So these tips are really nice because it already has that nice straight edge to both sides of it. So when you want to convert it to an almond shape, it makes it very, very easy. And it's not a curved tip, so it lets you create that shape very nice. Okay, because it is an extension tip, you can go ahead and file back and forth. If it's the natural nails, of course, you know that you only should file it in one direction, because you don't want to separate the different layers of the natural nails. Okay, now to continue to prep the entire nail bed. So I want to hold my sanding band bit as flat as possible. I don't really need to prep around the cuticle area too much, because I already did that with my Russian bits. So I'm staying away from the cuticle area, but yet I do want to make sure that I de-shine the rest of the nail. And if I have any edges from the extension, I want to make sure that I file that flush to the natural nail beds. Okay, so you don't have to put too much stress on the nails there. You want to remove all the dust. Okay, now is a good time to actually use this bit, because this bit will help you remove now all the dust, so that way the base gel of the hybrid system will stick really well to the surface of the nail bed, and that way it also helps for the hybrid not to lift. So just make sure that when you do prep the cuticle area that you prep it very, very clean. I don't want any hangnails or any dry skin to be exposed, because if you do, then it's not going to stick as well. So I see like this tip has a little bit of separation. So I just want to put a little bit of nail glue there. So it's really important that also the extensions lay really flat and very secure to the natural nails as well, so it doesn't lift up the hybrid gel. Okay, so with the hybrid gel system, you only need a couple different things. So we're going to need our base gel, our top gel, and our alcohol solution jar. So this jar is, the color of it is green, but the alcohol that we're going to pour inside is going to be our liquid that helps us to move the hybrid gel product and the brush, so that way both of those won't stick together. So just to show you guys how much alcohol you should use per service, it's very little. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the cap and just pour, not all the way full even, and that's really all the alcohol that you need, and that will help you to do one full set. So you can see how little product that we need with this hybrid system. Okay, so I have here our clear T.A.P hybrid gel and a couple of different French colors. So I'm going to go ahead and use number 5. This is from our French collection. It's a really nice color. So let me get one that's already open. You know what, let me use number 7. This is a really nice color as well. So number 7 is a pink shimmer. It's really pretty. So if you guys can see on my thumb, I used just clear. And just so you know, our clear is not glass clear like builder gel. So if you're looking for a super, super clear, transparent, see-through look, you won't get that with our clear, because this hybrid gel system is actually a combination of powder and gel and builder gel. So if you can understand that, powder has grits and gradients, so it's not going to give you 100% clarity. But I'm going to use clear on one of the nails just to show you how easy it is to apply. So we have clear, and I'm going to do that for the entire extension of this stiletto nail. So I will need my T.A.P brush. So this brush has one side is a metal end, that's like your spatula to remove the product, and then the other side is a brush. So every time you store your brush, you want to make sure that it's really cleaned out before we put the cap back on. So that way every time you go to use your brush, it's going to be nice and soft and ready. So the first step that we're going to apply is our base gel. So this base gel has the primer and the bonder built in, so that way it has everything all in one step. You don't have to pre-bond or dehydrate the nails anymore, because the nail is already dry and dehydrated from all the buffing and filing that we did. And that's why it's really important. Just like a gel manicure, you want to make sure all the cuticles are really clean before you apply the gel polish, right? So this is the same kind of thinking. Before you apply the hybrid base, you want to make sure all the cuticle and everything is clean and ready for you, because we're not going to do a lot of filing around the cuticle. So I do want to apply the base gel very, very close to the cuticle area and then to the rest of the entire nails. So push up a little bit and apply some pressure, that way your brush can naturally spread out and allow you to cover more of the space. Okay, and then we're going to cure this for 30 seconds. So make sure your LED lamp is at least 48 watts, and this lamp here comes with your kit. So if you don't have a lamp already, then you can just get our French collection kit, and that comes with it. Christina asks, you always work in forward or do you work in reverse too when doing cuticle work? Yes, Christina, it depends on the angle that I am filing, or if I'm not able to remove the cuticle in the forward motion, then I will back it up and do reverse. But for the most part, the bit is strong enough to where it can remove it in one direction. And that's a good thing to bring up as well, because if you are left-handed, I'm right-handed, so if you're left-handed, the e-file machine can also work for left-handed nail techs. So here, all you would have to do is just make sure your button is on the R for reverse, and if you're right-handed, then it'll be on the forward direction, okay? Okay, so after 30 seconds, you see that the base gel has already covered the entire nail, and you can almost see it self-levels the nails a little bit, making it nicer for you to apply the application. So I'm going to go ahead and use the clear hybrid for the oval shaped nail. So I'm going to just squeeze it out of my tube. And I know that it's a little bit of a longer nail, so I want to make sure that I have enough product. And if you guys can all see, this product is very easy to use because it doesn't move on you at all. It stays put. Wherever you put it, it will not move. So the first step I'm going to do is dip my brush into the alcohol, and right around here where the cuticle area is, you see there's a little bit of a gap. I want to make sure that I don't apply the product right away on top of or too close to my cuticle area, because I do want a little bit of space to where I can tap and pat down the product to where I can thin it out and then just create a nice clean cuticle shape with the product. So because this is a little bit of a longer nail, you want to make sure that you have enough around the stress area. So you don't want to make it too flat or too thin, because we do want to build a little bit of that apex. Can everybody see that? So I do want to naturally build that apex thickness with my brush, and just brushing on both sides just to smooth it out. So there's not a lot of tapping that I do on top of the hybrid. More so, I'm just smoothing with my brush, and anytime I feel like my brush is sticking to the hybrid, I'm going to put my brush into the alcohol a little bit just to give it that slipperiness so that I can easily shape the nails with that. Can you guys see how easy and smooth that application was? So if it's too thick, what you want to do is apply a little bit more pressure and then just always smooth. So you have 100% control with this product. It's not going to move on you. You can actually go on to the next nail and the next nail before we cure it in the light. All right, so the next nail I'm going to do is a full coverage of our number 7. This is our Princess Shimmer. It has a little bit of a pink color and also is a really full coverage color, and it has a little bit of glitter in it as well. So this will be a really nice nail to also do like a French or an ombre. So I'm going to stay away from the cuticle area. This color is nice and easy for you guys to see the technique that I was talking about. So now I have room for my brush to push and tap the product towards the cuticle area. So always my cuticle area is nice and thin to almost where it's flush to the natural nails. If you have too much alcohol on your brush, then you can just dab it on your paper to remove it. But with a longer nail, you want to make sure that you have a nice slippery surface. So this is a very, very long stiletto nail, and I know a lot of you guys may not do a set like this with this length, but you can see with this technique and this product that it's so easy to form any kind of shape that you want. And if you don't have enough, it's okay. I will show you how to add more products to the nail. So let's say I got out to my tip area and I don't have enough product. What I'm going to do is recommend that you flash cure this for 10 seconds and then add more to the nails, because that way it's a lot easier than trying to add it while you're working with it, because it may mess up your shape. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit more of the product. I'd rather work less than too much product, because you can't put it back into the tubes. So you want to just make sure that you eyeball it to where it's the amount that you need. Okay, so this is a very thin, narrow stiletto shape. This will be a really pretty nail to do some crystals and some artwork at the very end. Okay, so then I just brush upward to blend, and anytime you blend, you want to make sure that your brush is more on the dry side. Okay, so if you have any extras on the bottom, make sure you remove that before we cure it, so that way you don't have to file it off later. Okay, so now I'm going to cure these two nails for a full minute. So when you're done with the last nail on your application, you want to make sure you give that nail a full 60 seconds. So that's 1 minute in the LED lamp. If you're working on a couple nails at the same time or one after the other, you can flash cure it just so it doesn't move and then come back to it. But before we move on to the next hand, I usually have the hand that I just finished the last finger on, I let them cure for a total of 1 minute. If it goes longer than a minute, it's not a big deal. The more, the better, but it takes 1 minute for it to finally cure, for it to set. Okay, so after we cure that for 1 minute, we're going to take our top gel, and this gel has two purposes. One is to seal the hybrid gel. So after our application, we're going to seal it, and then at the very end, when we apply the shine on the nails to make it like over your gel polish, you can use it for that as well, and that's going to shine up the whole entire nail, and then you're done. If you just want a clear nail like this, then you just apply the top and cure for 60 seconds, and then you can leave it just like that without any gel polish. Okay, so now that the nails are done, it's nice and hardened, so it's very durable. One thing that you can't see on the camera is it has a little inhibition layer from the gel curing with the LED lamp, and that oxidizes, so it gives you that little sticky inhibition layer. So what we're going to do now is take our non-white top gel, and we're going to seal the hybrid. Make sure you don't apply too much around the cuticle area though. Just a nice thin layer, and that will seal the hybrid before we shape the nails. And that also will take away that sticky layer. I don't recommend that you wipe that sticky layer with alcohol, because it's not like builder gel where once you wipe it then it's done. Because with this hybrid gel, it actually has some porous area because there's powder and gel mixed together, right? So when it cures, there's going to be very, very micro like dots on the nail, I would say, like open areas. So you want to make sure that we seal it with the top, and that will give it one solid foundation. So after a minute, then we can go ahead and shape the nails. But before I shape it, I'm going to show you guys how to apply the hybrid with forms. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and show you guys where it's at right now. So this is a full coverage of clear and our Princess Shimmer color, and these are done with nail tips. So the other technique that I do want to show you guys are done with nail forms. So these are just different forms that I picked up, and they're all made differently. Like this one is out of cardboard and it's very, very thick. So I don't like that one too much. I prefer to find a form that I can bend easily and it can hold the shape, because sometimes when a form is so thick like this, it makes it a really nice solid foundation for you to work on, but sometimes it'll separate from the tabs and it'll you know, kind of like spring back up and it messes up your shape that you're trying to create with the hybrid gel. Because remember, the hybrid won't cure or get hard until we cure it in the light. So this is a nice form, I can tell. This is also a nice form. This is for a longer nail that you want to create. And this one is also kind of hard and it's plasticky. So if you can see the tabs, it comes right off. So when you're looking for nail forms, I recommend you just to try them out. I don't have a recommendation for you guys or a brand because we haven't had the chance to make our own forms yet, but I'm just going to say this one here, it just looks like it's going to work the best. So what I do is I normally would just kind of shake the form back and forth to loosen it up a little bit. And then this tab that was in the center, I can also put it back here to give it a little bit more of a platform so it's stronger. And the first thing I'm going to do, because not every form fits the same for every fingernail. So because I have just a little bit of free edge, I'm going to see how the fit looks like. So it looks like it fits pretty good, but one thing that you guys can't see is this form is actually hitting the bottom of my skin. So that hurts a little bit. So how we're going to fix that is I'm going to take my thin shears and I'm going to cut a little bit of a triangle in the center. And this form is nice because it has a lot of graph lines for you to see exactly where you can cut on both sides to make it nice and even. So me cutting out this little section there helps for the form to fit a little bit better underneath my nail, and it doesn't create that painful sensation. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze the forms together. Make sure that you match the tabs on both sides, so that way it's nice and even. And this form has a nice line that I can see in the center, so I want to make sure that the line is also in the middle of my nails. So this form looks really nice, and I'm going to go ahead and create a square nail with this form. So I want to leave the tip open like this because that'll give me a nice cylinder look. Okay, I want to squeeze all the way around and even up here. So this is a nice fit. You guys can see that by me moving my fingers and bending my knuckles, it's not moving at all. So with forms, I usually work one nail at a time because it is pretty fragile, and if it gets in the way, then I don't want it to get messed up. So again, we're going to have to base the nail bed first. So I'm going to base my entire natural nails, and then I'm also going to apply base to the form. The reason why is the base creates a sticky inhibition layer because our base is not a shiny no cleanse texture. So I want to create a little bit of a sticky layer so that way when I extend the hybrid to the form, it's going to grab on. So I'm going to go ahead and cure that for 30 seconds. I want to say hi to those of you that are just turning in and watching our class. So the main focus for today's class is about shaping with nail tips versus nail forms. So it's going to be two very different techniques. So no matter if you're using a tip or a form, you still want to make sure that you apply the base gel all the way through. So I want to maybe create this length to be about where number 4 is, so I apply the base gel all the way out there. If it extends a little bit more than that, it's not a big deal because we could just shape it down really easy. Okay, so now I'm going to apply a thin layer of my clear hybrid gel because I want to first connect the forms to my nail bed. Hybrid gel works a little bit different than acrylic to where it is a more flexible material. So it won't cure or get stiff until we put put it into the LED lamp. So the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to build the connection between my natural nails and the form. So I'm going to apply just a very thin layer of clear. And I can do this even if I want to build a French tip, because I'm going to go ahead and do an ombre nail on this shape. So I want to build a little bit of a foundation first with my clear hybrid, as thin as you can make it to where it still gives you a little bit of structure. Okay, so this is going to be a square shaped nail, and it's hard to see because this is a clear nail. When I apply my white, you're going to see that a little bit better. So now that I built my foundation, I connected my natural nails to the forms. So I just want to make sure that I clean it off. And this hybrid gel is really easy to shape, so you don't have to worry if you got it too thick. So I'm going to go ahead and cure that for 30 seconds. So we're going to do a nice French ombre. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my white hybrid gel. So this color is also in your French collection box. So it's got the pure French white, and that's ombre with the nude pink. So earlier somebody asked what's a good shade to do a full coverage. So this number 6 nude pink is really nice to go over the entire nail beds or to use as an ombre for the French. So I want to make sure that I built that out. And at this point, you can either decide to remove the form and continue with the shape, or you can leave it on there. So I'm going to make sure that I have a good covering. And then now I'm going to remove the form from the nails. So you want to just get underneath of here with a little bit of alcohol to separate it from the forms. This is a nice form. I'm going to find out where I can make this, because I really like it. It's really strong and sturdy. So you don't want to just rip the nails off. You want to make sure that you remove it nice and gentle. If you have any extra base gel, you can just go ahead and trim that off. Okay, so the next step I'm going to do is I want to thin this section out a little bit because I don't want it so thick, because when I do the ombre then it's going to be uneven for me. So I'm just going to take my hand file and smooth out that edge area. So I don't want my apex to be built too much with the clear. So if you can tell already, form versus nail tips, it's a lot more work. So you can charge more when you're doing forms on a client. I know typically a salon would charge $10 more to do a nail service with forms, and there's some benefits to the form because you can definitely control how thick you want it and how curved you want the nails. Okay, so next step I'm going to take is the white hybrid gel, and we're going to do an ombre. So I'm going to apply it a little bit lower than where I usually would start the ombre. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to tap down the product. I just want to make sure that I applied the white evenly on both sides before I start to do the ombre. Okay, and I'm going to apply the white through the nail first to get it the nice shape, because once I get this white in place I don't have to touch it anymore. So I just want to make sure that's nice and even, that I have enough. And then the area that I'm going to ombre, which is this center right here, I'm going to make sure that my brush is nice and dry. And then I'm going to put on a little bit of pressure to thin out the white so I can create a nice ombre effect with that. Okay, so when your brush is too wet, it's not going to drag the product, so you want to make sure that the brush is nice and dry. All right, so that's a nice ombre there. So we're going to go ahead and cure that, set for 30 seconds. And then the next color we're going to use is going to be this nude pink. So make sure you work a little at a time. If you need more, then you can get more color or more hybrid. So I know that my cuticle area is not that thick or not that much space, so I'm going to start with just that much amount. I apply the product close to the cuticle, but not too close because I need some room for me to push the product upwards. And that's one of the things that I think is going to be hard to get used to, is you want to start away from the cuticle and then work your way up, so that way you can really press down the product to make it nice and thin. So when we go to shape the nails and shape the cuticle area, we don't need to apply a lot of pressure to remove product. Okay, so make sure you cover both sides. And then the area where we're going to ombre the nail, we're going to use our brush and make sure it's not too wet, because you want to leave the brush a little dry, so that way you can drag the product and ombre it. Okay, so that's one way that we can do the ombre. If you want less white, we can go ahead and apply a little bit more of that nude pink. So let me go ahead and do that. So I want to just flash cure for a couple seconds. So you could always add to the nails. Just flash cure the nail bed and let that top layer kind of harden, and then you can add more products to the nails. So I'm gonna have less of the white, so I just applied a little bit more of the nude pink, and then make sure my brush is nice and dry, so that way I can drag the product and ombre. That looks better. That looks like a better ombre, because I just want a little bit of the white showing. Okay, so the next nail, we're going to go ahead and use another form. So I'm going to use this form here. This one is a little bit flexible as well. It's not so hard, but I can already tell that I need to do a couple little customized trimming in this area so it could fit my nail beds a little bit better. Okay, so let me go ahead and remove this here. I'm going to see how it fits first, because my nail beds, they grow out and they have a little bit of skin underneath, so sometimes it doesn't fit really good with the forms. So you can always customize the form. You can trim out the center like I did earlier, just to create a little bit of room so it can fit better underneath the nails. And also you can have a couple slit on the sides like this, and this will allow you to bend the shape of the forms a little bit better as well. So because this is a long form, I want to make sure that both of my ends meet together at a perfect point. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze that together. Fit it underneath my nail. See, that fits a lot better, and it feels really comfortable too. So this nail here, so you can see the form is fitting really, really well. You want to squeeze it here to secure it so it doesn't move. So because I cut some of the sides, it allows the form to bend and mold to your fingers a lot better. You see that? So anytime you feel like a form doesn't fit 100% perfectly, you can always cut a little bit to create the flexibility of the forms. Okay, so first step we're going to do is apply base gel, and we're going to apply that from the cuticle area all the way to also the forms, because you want to create a little bit of that sticky layer for the hybrid to stay on the form. All right, so we're going to cure that for 30 seconds. Okay, so for this nail, let's do something fun. I'm going to add a little bit of glitter. So I have this really pretty glitter mix. I'm going to add some of that. And I'm going to show you guys how to add some glitter encapsulation. Okay, so first off, I want to build that connection between the natural nails and the forms. So I'm going to take my clear hybrid gel, and I just want to create a little bit of a foundation. So I'm going to apply that half and half on the natural nails and the form. I'm going to hold it in this direction, and then I want to press down, press your brush at as flat as you can get it, so that way it can create a 0 degree flat surface for your foundation. So this nail here, let's do a little bit of a pointed edge. So I could shape this in a little bit as well. Or you know what, let's do coffin because we haven't had that one yet. So I'm going to create a little bit of a coffin free edge here. And this is a very long form, so if you want to, you can create it even longer than this. I would flash cure first and then add more product. Okay, so I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds. So I just created a nice connection between the forms and the natural nails. So to add glitter gradient like this, I'm going to show you guys a nice easy way to do so. I'm just going to pour a little bit of glitter onto my paper. And so right now there's a little bit of a sticky residue, but it's not enough for the glitter to grab on. So what I'm going to do is apply a thin layer of base gel, because you could reapply the base gel as many times as you want to when you're creating different nail art design, because it's just going to work together with the hybrid system. So I'm going to take my glitter and I'm going to apply it directly onto the base gel. Isn't that pretty? And you could do this with almost any kind of product that you have, even dried flowers, you can do that as well. So I have a little bit of dried flour. I can put that into the nails to show you. Let me just see where they're at. Okay. So I have some dried flowers, which is a really good time for me to show you how to put these on. So because I have base gel on here, I can go ahead and apply the flour directly and then cure it. So I can set in place. And then that way we could encapsulate the whole nail and see the glitter and the flower exposed. But the encapsulation is going to protect the glitter and the flower. So that way it's inside of the nails. Okay, so I'm going to take my clear again. And this time I want to squeeze enough to where I can apply the whole nails with it. So I'm going to take about this amount is good for the whole nail. And in one tube you can do about 20 full sets with that. So you see around the cuticle area, I'm going to start a little bit further away and then use the tip of my brush to just thin out the cuticle area, so that way it makes it really nice and clean. So your application is going to be nice and clean, so when we shape the nail beds later with the e-file, we don't have to file too much around the cuticle area. That's why I really like this product, because it is very easy to use and you can control the product as much as you want to. You can shape it before you cure it in the light. I want to make sure I have enough on both sides. Okay, so this application I left the form on because I'm not doing any difficult technique. So I can show you how you can work with the product on the form, and then you can cure it in the light for 60 seconds. So after you're done with the last step of the hybrid gel application, you want to make sure that we cure it for at least 1 minute. Can you pinch the nail? Yes, you can. So I just flash cure for 10 seconds. So if I wanted to pinch the nail at this point, and there's many different tools for you to pinch with, so I'm just going to use my tweezer here, and I'm going to pinch your nail. So the problem with pinching the nail is if you don't have a pinching tool that stays put, then you're going to have to go into the light with the tweezer. Let me see if I have a pincher to show you. Okay, so I do have a pincher available. So Christina asked, can you pinch the nail to make it, and the reason why we want to pinch the nail when it's not entirely clear is we want to give it that little cylinder look. So I'm pinching the nail now, and then I can go ahead and cure my nails with this while the pincher is on. The base of my LED lamp, you're able to remove that. So if your pincher or your tool is too long, obviously it's going to hit the back of the LED lamp. So I just lifted off the base, and then I was able to put my entire nail into the light. Okay, so after you pinch it, then we're just going to remove the pinch file, and then you can remove the entire form. So after you cure for 1 minute, then the entire nail is nice and strong. So that way we can shape the nails. But before we shape the nails, there's a little bit of that inhibition layer. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we seal that. Oops, sorry. We're going to seal that with the top gel. So this top gel has the seal and shine option, right? So now we're going to seal the nails. So this is going to create a harder surface on the hybrid gel for us to shape and file. So the benefit of using the nail tips versus the forms is you can see it's definitely a lot faster to apply the product with just the nail extension. With the forms, it takes a little bit more work, a little bit more customizing. The look will be a little bit different because you can create more of a custom shape to the client's nail bed. So let's say a client has very short natural nail beds. I recommend you using a form versus the nail tip extension because it'll allow you to create a longer nail bed on their fingers to make it look more better, more natural. If you try to glue a nail tip on a very short nail bed, sometimes it won't stay as well. And, you know, it'll sometimes also lift a little bit easier on the sides. So with my nail bed, I can go either way because it's a little bit longer. So if you prefer to do the shaping with the forms, then that's perfectly fine. Personally, I do a lot of my extension with tips. But it's all preference. And if you apply product with forms, you typically can charge a little bit more for the service because it does take you a little bit longer and it has a lot more technique involved. So after I'm done filing and shaping this nail, I want to show you the nice cylinder look that we have at the free edge versus the tips. For this nail, I'm just going to have the shape of a square nail. So I want to make sure that both sides I file it really parallel to my side walls. So I'm not tapering the nail at all. And then the very tip of it, I'm just going to hold my file at a 90-degree angle. That way I can shape it back and forth. Can you guys see how straight I was able to create that square? So this nail here, we're going to taper it a little bit so we can create a coffin shape. So with the coffin shape, I'm going to start parallel, but then angle it a little bit at the very tip. So I'm going to start parallel to remove it off my skin, but then I'm going to angle my file so I can taper the free edge. Okay, so this nail here, this is an almond shape. So I'm going to leave it a little bit wider at the stress point area, and then round off the tip. So the thing about the round shape is you want to make sure that it matches on both sides. So you want to shape one nail at a time. And all the times I would ask my client to look at their nails with their point of view, because it always looks different. What I see and what they see is always different. So as long as my client is happy, then I know that I did a good job. So even though I think I made the nail 100% even on both sides, I will still ask them to look at their own nails and tell me if that's good, if the shape is good for them. And sometimes they will tell me, can you file off a little bit more on this side or that side? And to me, it's going to make the nail look uneven now, but as long as the client is happy, I'm okay with that. So this is a stiletto nail. So on both sides, I'm just going to angle it to the very tip of the nails. So tell me if you guys have clients like that, where every single nail they have to stop and look at it before you continue. I just had one last week. She drove me crazy, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's her nails, and she's paying me for it, so as long as she's happy, right? All right, so the first bit I'm going to use for the surface filing is going to be our cuticle bit. So this is our cuticle bit. It has a nice straight edge, so you guys can see, and it has a small circumference at the tip. So it allows me to see exactly where I need to file. So I'm going to turn my e-file to a medium speed, which on this e-file is going to be about a little bit more than 15,000 RPM, but no more than 20,000 RPM. Because around the cuticle area, you do want to run it a little slower than if you were to file the rest of the nails, because you need to concentrate on the pressure and where your bit is filing. So I'm not on my cuticle, I'm just a teeny bit away from it, and I'm following the shape of my skin around here. And that's really all you need to do. With this hybrid gel, because we were able to apply a really thin application around the cuticle area, you don't need to do a lot of heavy filing here. And we already pushed back the cuticles a lot earlier when we did the Russian manicure with the different bits. So there's not a lot of dry skin. All I'm doing right now is making sure I don't have any gel that accidentally went into the cuticle area. So this bit is just very simple. It's nice because you can see exactly where you need to shape the cuticle area. And this bit, you don't go back and forth with it. We just file in one direction. With the Russian manicure bits, because it is a diamond bit, so it's a little bit more safer. If you need to file in the opposite direction to get a certain cuticle off, then you can do that. But with these Tungsten bits, you want to make sure that we only file in one direction. So we're not going to move the bit to the opposite side. If you're left-handed, then make sure you have the bit on the reverse to spin reverse, okay? So that's all we're going to use the taper bit for, and that's for the cuticle area. Next bit that we're going to use is going to be the barrel bit, and this one is a medium grit. I'm sorry, this is a fine grit. the cuticle bit, this was a medium to make sure that we clean up the cuticle a little bit more. And this one is a fine bit because now all we're going to be doing is making sure that the surface is smooth and even. So I'm going to turn this bit a little bit faster, so about 20 to 22,000 RPM. And I'm going to hold the bit as flat as possible. And you can see where my bit is removing product, anywhere that it's uneven, because I have the clear on my nails, so you can see anywhere that is still shiny is where I need to focus to make sure the nail is even and flat. Okay, so very nice and smooth, only file in one direction. Because the nail is longer, you can go ahead and file downward like that. Okay, so here I'm going to start from one side and move it to the other. So I hope you guys can see the angle okay. So the bit is only removing product in one direction. And I'm using light to medium pressure. So the bit on the tip of it is rounded, so you can go close to the cuticle area, but you don't want to use this bit to clean the cuticles because it's too wide. Earlier, before this bit, we used the tapered cone bit. So that's the bit that you want to use for defining the cuticles. Okay, so just still be careful with this bit though, because we are using a faster speed, and with the faster speed you don't have to put a lot of pressure. So all we're doing is making sure that we move the bit side to side to even out the surface of the nail. And because it's a fine bit, it's also buffing the nails to where it's not creating a lot of roughness to the surface. So just move it from side to side. So this is a nice straight barrel bit. So I have my flower that I encapsulated with some glitter on this nail. If you guys miss any of my technique this month, you can always play back the videos to see, because with the hybrid system, there's actually a lot of technique that is involved, that you can create different looks with it. So just like with the other nail system, like acrylic or dipping, there's a lot of different techniques. So same thing with the hybrid gel. So I try to showcase a different technique each time. Okay, so then we're done with the surface filing. I'm going to use my brush to remove the dust so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay. So the next bit that I like to use is going to be our under the nail cleaner. So this is a nice bit because it's going to help you clean underneath the nails if you have any products that may have ran under. But with the hybrid gel, it doesn't really have a lot of running issues. But these bits you can also use with acrylic system. So I'm going to use this bit at a slower speed, so only no more than 10,000 RPM, because I just want to make sure if I have any corners that I missed, this is a nice bit to use because you can really get in and clean up those areas, especially on the sides. So I don't want to have any gel on the skin. Okay. Hold it at as flat as you can. Try not to angle the tip of the bit. And then this bit is also really nice to clean underneath the nails. So if you have any extra, because this one we use a form, so there's just a tiny little bit right there. So I want to remove that. This one looks pretty good. So with the tips, you don't have a lot of extras underneath the nail, but sometimes on the side, you might have a little bit extra from the glue. that we use to glue on the nail tips with. So you want to make sure we clean that for your client. And that'll take away that uncomfortable feeling as well. Okay, so I like to use my sanding band bit again, and this time I'm going to use a finer bit. So this was the medium grit that we used to prep the nail beds with. Now I'm going to buff the entire nails, and I like to do that with the fine sanding band. I'm going to switch it out. Now, these are disposable, so it's a one-time use. So we're going to go ahead and insert that in there. And with the sanding band bit, you want to make sure that the speed is as low as it can go. So on my E-file, it's going to be between 4 and 5. Okay, so now I can comfortably smooth out the entire nail. I like doing this at the very end because it helps me to safely buff the nails. I could even buff the bottom so there's not any edges. And then if I need to fix any of my shape, I can do that. So this is one of the last steps that we do to ensure that we have a nice, even nail bed. And then underneath the nail, I just use the tip of my bit to do that. Okay. So you can buff from side to side or up and down, it's up to you. The longer the nail, the more I do the up and down technique. So it looks like I'm going through a lot of different process for my nails, but trust me, when you guys take the time and you have the right tools to do the service, your nails are going to last a lot longer than a typical just quick application. So you do want to charge for your time, and the client will be able to wear these nails for 3 to 4 weeks. So it's totally worth it for them to sit there for an hour and a half to get their nails done. So now we're going to use just a fine buffer, and we're going to smooth out the entire nail. So you can buff it just back and forth, because now these are all enhancements, so it's not the natural nail, so we're able to use the buffer back and forth. Doesn't necessarily have to only buff in one direction. Okay, and then I also buff the sides and the edges, just so that way the nails could be really smooth and it won't get caught on anything. Okay, so the last bit that we're going to use is this cute little dust bit that comes with the kit as well. So I'm going to insert it, so don't insert it all the way. This is a fairly long bit, but you want to give it a little bit of the neck showing there. And I'm going to turn this to about 10,000 RPM. Okay, so now I'm going to go within all my sides and remove any of those nice fine dust. So sometimes if you're working on a client and you want to clean their nails for them, so you could do this step and then just take alcohol and wipe the nail bed and then continue with your finishing your nails. So I like to also dust the bottom of the nails, take away all those little dust, because you could do this before they wash their hands as well. So that gives it a nice little polished look. Then at the very, very end, if you have any more dry skin, you can go ahead and nip that with the cuticle nipper. But you can see with all the different bits that I used, look how clean the cuticles are. So I'm going to go ahead, and because we're here, I'm just going to wipe my nails with regular alcohol. So I'm going to take my alcohol that I used for the hybrid solution, and then we're going to clean the nails with that. So this is a really simple French ombre. So these nails I can polish, gel polish on there. So if I like this color, I can go ahead and just apply the top gel. For this nail here, this is a good example of your clear hybrid foundation work for you to apply gel polish. And this is an ombre French, and this nail here has a little bit of encapsulation. So let me go ahead and polish a gel polish over this nail here to show you guys. So after your application, you can decide if you want to apply polish or you can just leave it clear. If you apply one of the other French colors, then you can just apply the clear gel color over that. So with gel polish, you want to make sure that you stay away from the cuticle area and apply it nice and thin and even for the first layer. Because sometimes the pigment is not completely there, but at least you know you have a nice even coverage. So we're going to cure that for 30 seconds. Any questions so far? Thanks, Christina, for saying the shaping looks good. Yes, Char, that pinky nail is for sure a stiletto nail. I'm going to go ahead and put this paper here so I can cover the dust. Okay, so with the gel, we're going to make sure that we apply 2 coats. Nice, thin, even layer. Make sure you cover the sides. It usually takes me about 5 or 6 strokes for each nail. All right, so go ahead and cure that again for 30 seconds. I'm going to apply a little bit of rhinestone and crystal designs for you guys tonight. I'm going to show you how to apply that so that way it can stay on really well. Okay, so what we need before we apply our crystal is we need our glue gel here. This is our Stick It glue gel, and this is what we're going to use to apply all those little crystals, and either big or small. This is going to make all of those embellishments stay on. Then I have my picket tool. One side is a wax end, one side is a metal tip. That way you can pick up the gel with that. So this is different from the hybrid gel. If you guys can see, this is going to be more transparent, and it's only useful for applying your rhinestones and charms. You can actually use this gel for different nail art too, like if you want to create some 3D lines. So I know that I want to create like a V design with my crystals. I'm going to go ahead and apply the gel just like that. I'm going to pick up my stones here, and this is a wax tip, so the wax tip will always pick up the stones very easy. You can see I'm not really using a lot of technique to do this because the tool that I'm using is actually designed so that way we can have a really quick application with our crystals. So either big or small. I can even apply like little beads. So it picks up everything, which I love because it makes life so much easier. Can you guys see this okay? So I like it that we are able to apply the crystals really quickly. And if you can see, my stones are not moving. And that's another thing about this crystal gel, is that you're able to fix the shape because it's not dried yet. In order for it to set, we have to cure it in the light. So if I need to adjust any of the position of the stones, I can go ahead and do that before I cure. If I want to add more, I can also go ahead and do that. So let me just add a little bit more, a couple more pieces right there. Just kind of give it like a boho design there. Okay, so you see all those little beads and crystals. They're really good because they just stay put with this gel. So before you cure this though, if you can see, there's a little bit of thickness there that I didn't use, some of the glue gel. So what we want to do is we do want to smooth that out. So we're going to take our top gel that we use for the hybrid, because you can use this gel for regular gel polish to seal that and have that as your top coat. So I'm going to go ahead and just touch the base of my crystals and make sure that I can smooth out that glue gel. I have one more product that I want to show you to make sure that our crystals will stay on a lot better too as well. So if you have any overage, you want to make sure you clean that. You see how beautiful and soft that looks? So I'm going to go ahead and flash cure that before I move on to the next nail. Okay, so I just want to show you guys the finished ombre look. So we're going to take our top gel again. We're going to seal the entire nail. So this was the nude pink and white that I used for this ombre. The nude pink was number 6. See how pretty that is? This here, this is number 7. This is our Princess Shimmer. Very, very stiletto. To the point. So if you guys like the color, you can just go ahead and apply the top over that. So this nail here, I'm going to add a little bit more crystal, so I want to go ahead and set these two first. And remember, at the very end, before you put in a light, just move your hand on both sides there to clean up the shape, because sometimes the top gel will sort of move a little bit or get a little thick on one end depending on the angle that you're holding your hands. You guys like it so far? You can give me a thumbs up. And I want you guys to try this look at home. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more crystal designs there. So I'm going to take our glue gel and just apply it right where I need it. Either the big crystals or small crystals is all going to stay pretty good. So here I'm going to take the wax end of my tool and pick up my stones with it. Actually, that one flipped upside down, so I don't want to use that. So this tool is really, really nice for you to apply your stones quickly. And you can pick up different sizes. Make sure that when you're doing a design that is clustered like this, you don't want to use the same shape crystals. Here I'm using three or four different shapes, plus the little beads to fill in those little empty areas. And that makes the design look a lot softer. So if I need a little bit more, then I could go ahead and add to that. So if you guys don't have any of these products, you want to make sure that you get tools and product just like this to make your nail design look better and for it to last a lot longer. Because if I'm going to charge a client for a full set, let's just say this nail alone, for the full set, the base is already $75. And for each nail that I add crystals to, I'm going to add an additional $5 to $10 on that. So if you can charge your client $75 and up for their nail set, then you want to make sure you take the time and use good products on them so that way it can last. And then if they come back and everything is still intact, then you know that you did a really good job. And the clients will probably ask you to do another nail art on them. Because before I had the glue gel, I didn't know what to use, so I would use just regular nail glue. And the problem with using regular nail glue is it's going to dull out your crystals, makes it really difficult for the application because the glue would dry right away. And if you don't have a quick hand, then you're going to have to reapply the glue many times. And that will also make your design look kind of messy. Okay, so one last step is I'm going to take our On Point glue gel. And this one is great because one end is a liner. So if I need to go and put more gel to seal my stones around the cuticle area, I can use the liner brush because it has a precision point to that. like around this area here. I'm going to use the liner to just go around the cuticle, because that helps to seal it even a little bit more around the edges. And this pointed glue gel has two functions. So on the other tip is where I can use to squeeze in the gel around the edges, so I can make sure that these crystals will stay on there. It's going to be really, really secure now. Even these little beads, they're not going to be able to fall off. So this will self-level a little bit because it's the same as our thicker glue gel but thinner formula. So the thinner formula allows you to squeeze enough into those little open area and make sure your stones and crystals don't have any edges to be caught in their hair or their sweater, and that really seals it. Okay, so I'm going to final cure for 1 minute, and then we're going to see the final look. All right, thank you so much, everybody. So Christina asked, Cindy, how long does it take you to sculpt a medium set? Because I'm not really good at sculpting. I can do forms, so it's going to take me a little longer, but typically it's going to take me about an hour and a half to do the sculpting. If you just do a plain color without any sort of design technique, then it could be a little bit faster. Like if I'm just working and I'm not talking like I do with my class, I can do a full set for a basic hybrid application in about 45 minutes. But if I'm sculpting, it's going to take me probably another half an hour longer, because I want to make sure that I cover my sides and then I pinch it, or, you know, I want to make sure the forms are not moving. So you can see the difference in timing. With the nail tips, it's faster to do the application, and with the forms, it'll take you a little bit longer. So therefore, you should charge a little bit more when you're doing a custom form application. Okay, so this is the final look. I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of cuticle oil. So remember, with our Russian bit set, I'm going to add a free cuticle oil to that purchase. So make sure you guys go out there and check out the website. And all the products that I use for our class is available on our Shine and Design website. I'm going to put a little bit there too. So I hope you guys enjoy everything that you see tonight. This is a lot that we were demonstrating, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys can see all the different options that you have with the hybrid gel system. So we have tips on these two nails, and then these are forms. So the difference between that is, if you can see the tip of the forms, I can definitely do it a lot thinner, and it has a nice natural C curve to it. So that's one of the difference with it. Well, thank you so much, everyone, and I welcome you back to our schedule for next month. Unfortunately, tonight is the last night for the classes this month, but I will post the next schedule very soon. Hopefully tomorrow I will have the schedule up for June. And if you guys just follow us, you will see a lot of different technique that I can demonstrate with the hybrid gel system. A lot of e-filing techniques I will be showing you. Even though I won't have a class schedule for the rest of the month, I will still be able to come on into our group and post some videos and some extra tutorials. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you so much, Ramona, for your comment, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. And you guys have a great rest of the month, and I hope to see you again. And don't forget, you can still enter into our contest, because that will still go on next week, and I will announce the winner. And again, congratulations to Jing. She's the one that won the contest today for our free nail art gift. So you guys have a good evening, and I will see you again very, very soon. Good luck and have fun with the hybrid gel system. Thank you so much.